If you've watched any videos or read any reviews about the Kaleidescape system, you've no doubt heard the word quality thrown around quite a bit. And it's true that it is a high quality and possibly the highest quality content delivery system for home theater. But I like to think of it as a high octane source for high performance theaters. You don't buy an Aston Martin or a Ferrari and fill it up with 87 octane ethanol gas. So why would you spend tens of thousands of dollars or more on your display, processor, amps, speakers, and more, and then feed it ultra compressed content through a $100 device? In the early days of streaming content, we started hearing things referred to as disc quality versus streaming quality, with disc quality always being the higher quality option. Streaming has consistently improved and has become quite good, but it has not yet reached the image and sound quality that can be achieved with a physical disc. But it has become the new default, with nearly everything available to stream, plus streaming exclusive content, but primarily because of convenience. As internet connections become faster and more stable, streaming boxes become cheaper, apps are now on just about every TV sold, and cable and satellite prices are going through the roof. The people have spoken, and the people have embraced streaming their content. But for those of us passionate about quality, streaming has always been a compromise. We've continued to seek out discs for the highest quality, but that has become less and less convenient, not to mention the need for a place to store them. But I'm not gonna lie, I love the ease and convenience of streaming. I love being able to access my content library with the click of a button, and the idea of not having a physical item for each piece of content that I have to find a place to store. Now, don't even get me started on the ecological aspect of all that plastic and paper and shipping and so on. I just want the quality of a disc with the convenience of streaming. The Kaleidescape system is what I would consider streaming without compromise. Yes, it's technically not streaming. It's downloading files to a server and playing back locally. But for all intents and purposes, it offers all the benefits and perks of streaming without compromise. By the time everyone is into their comfy pants and we've popped the popcorn and fired everything up, our movie is downloaded and ready to go in full, lossless, high-octane quality. The Kaleidescape system brings, for lack of a better term, disc quality image and sound to the digital realm. Physical media has long been considered the gold standard for movie content delivery, but Kaleidescape meets and often exceeds the quality of a disc. For one, they're not limited by storage capacity of a disc. They create their own downloadable media file from the same file that is used to create the physical disc. They just don't have the same constraints. And because the files do not need to stream over an internet connection, they're still able to deliver via the internet, but at a much higher quality. A current Kaleidescape system consists of a Terra server or a compact Terra server, which downloads and stores your content locally, and then a Strato C player for each display. Previously, the company has offered all-in-one devices that included storage and playback, but the current product line configuration really makes the most sense, as Kaleidescape positions itself as a whole house entertainment ecosystem rather than a single unit confined to the theater room. Each Terra server can feed up to 10 simultaneous Strato C players on your network without any dip in performance, and the compact Terra can accommodate 5 players at the same time. The Terra comes in 48 and 72 terabyte configurations, which can hold about 800 and 1200 4K movies. The compact Terra comes in 6, 12, and 18 terabyte options, holding about 100, 200, and 300 4K movies. Movies can be deleted from a server and re-downloaded an unlimited number of times if you find yourself owning too many movies to store at one time. Unlike mass market streaming devices, the Kaleidescape components must all connect directly to your home network setup via gigabit Ethernet. Stable connection to the network and between the server and each player is required for downloads and playback. There is no quality throttling on a Kaleidescape like there is on a streaming service, so you'll never see the quality drop because of limited network speeds. Wi-Fi introduces too many variables for consistent playback, so Ethernet availability at each player location is definitely something you want to consider when planning your whole home system. Basic settings are configurable on the Kaleidescape Strato C interface, and for a much deeper control, you can access both the players and servers via a web interface to set up more custom configuration options, as well as seeing current operation status and the audio-video capability of the system your player is connected to. The Kaleidescape system works in similar ways and has similar features when compared to most streaming options, though there are some key differences. I'm going to talk about a few of them here. Like Netflix and iTunes and others, Kaleidescape offers a mobile app. It's a really good app too. It allows you to browse the store, create a wish list, make purchases, view your current library, and see what's downloaded to your system already. You can view and take advantage of various sales and special offers, and it can even act as a remote for your system as long as you're connected to the same network as your Kaleidescape player. The major difference in the app is that you can't watch your content on the Kaleidescape app. With a Kaleidescape system, much like the streaming offerings, users can browse the store for titles to buy or rent, or they can browse their already owned content library. This can also be done on a Strato C player as well as the mobile app or website in any browser. I found the mobile app and browser to be a much easier and more pleasing experience, but the player experience is certainly acceptable. The app and website just seem to be a better fit, due in large part to the slight delay if a download is required. Our typical movie night routine starts while cleaning up from dinner. We'll talk about what type of movie we might want to watch or discuss specific titles that we have in mind. Once we're done cleaning up, I'll grab my phone or the laptop and we'll choose a specific title and either buy it or rent it if we haven't already. And this automatically triggers the movie to begin downloading onto our compact Terra server. On our gigabit fiber here, it takes usually around 10 minutes to download. And once it starts, we start getting ready to watch. Popping popcorn, grabbing a drink, getting comfortable, powering up to theater, and by the time we're all in place, the movie has downloaded and it's ready to watch. With streaming services, we always found ourselves endlessly scrolling and spending half an hour of our movie watching time trying to find something to watch, reviewing endless trailers, jumping from app to app. Essentially, an unexpected benefit of the Kaleidescape was a more purposeful selection of the movie, which is actually great. We're less likely to waste an evening trying to find something to watch. We identify a free night to watch a movie, everyone offers some ideas for what to watch, and then we discuss and choose, and our time in the theater room isn't wasted exploring the depths of the online movie libraries. Frankly, we typically spent less time driving to a rental store to walk around and choose a movie than we do trying to find something on Netflix. It's comical, really. Performance is very, very important to me. I don't want to sacrifice quality, but I also am a big fan of simplicity. I love things that make processes easy. And let's face it, streaming content through a $100 box is easy, but there's a huge sacrifice. So I'm torn on streaming. I do think it has its place in our theaters and in our living rooms, and it's come a very long way in masking and hiding its shortcomings, but honestly, they're still there. The more time and money you spend to squeeze higher performance out of your theater room is a double-edged sword. It makes everything look and sound better, including streaming, but it can also reveal the inherent sacrifices in streaming content, especially when you compare it to a physical disc. How many of us are guilty of watching an inferior streaming version of a movie or concert that we own on disc just because of the convenience of not having to go find the disc wherever it may be stored, put it in the player, skipping through previews and menus, making sure the right audio track is selected, and so on. I know I am. Convenience is addictive. Streaming services have, again, made a lot of improvements, and it's gotten pretty decent so long as you never play a full quality movie in your theater. This is the dead giveaway, and you'll notice the difference immediately. Someday this war's gonna end. Both sound and image have major sacrifices for the file size trade-off. How much of a trade-off? Let's take a look at the Batman. The file you're watching on HBO Max is about 6 gigabytes. The UHD Blu-ray file comes out to about 69 gigabytes. The Kaleidescape download weighs in at a whopping 96 gigabytes. So what do you get with that extra 90 gigabytes? In terms of video, the Kaleidescape file of this notoriously dark picture uses a higher bitrate for the video, about 8 times that of streaming, which shows up on your display as no banding and color gradients, no compression blocking during the heavy action scenes, better color quality, sharper images, and finer details, especially in those really dark scenes. And looking further than the Batman, since adding my Kaleidescape, we've watched more movies than usual, both because they're so enjoyable on this system, but also to get a good evaluation for this video review series. We've watched all kinds of content. Older movies shot on film, newer movies captured digitally, and of course, my favorite, concert films. Each different type and era of content has its own positives. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, the grain structure of the original 35mm film stock is just glorious without introducing any noise or compression artifacting. The 4K HDR image looks fantastic and holds up against anything filmed recently. Moving on to a title like Free Guy, which used a digital Arri Alexa camera, the pristine digital image is crystal clear and sharp with no noise, no color banding, nothing. Just bright colors, smooth motion, and a whole lot of fun. I have yet to find a piece of content on the Kaleidescape that has been disappointing or not up to my expectations. Everything thus far has been an absolute delight. Sound is also massively improved over the streaming options. Streaming content typically uses a Dolby Digital Plus container, which is certainly much improved over a standard Dolby Digital container, but still compressed. Kaleidescape, like physical media, offers a full Dolby True HD or DTS:MA container, meaning lossless audio with additional metadata for Atmos and DTS:X when available. Lossless audio will simply sound bigger. It's a more full sound with greater dynamic range. There's more detail and more depth than you'll find in a compressed version. For those using full range sound systems, it's a very appreciable difference. The Kaleidescape interface is certainly unique. Their main interface is well known for the feature that automatically resorts your content library based on the currently selected title. So if you're looking at Skyfall, it will bring other James Bond titles and action movies closer to make them easier to evaluate and choose, making the assumption that you're not in the mood for a period drama if you're looking at Skyfall. I'm still deciding if I like this feature or not. It's definitely cool. I'm just curious how I'll feel when I have more titles in my library, if it will make it easier or harder to finding what I'm looking for. The content on Kaleidescape looks fantastic and sounds terrific. The hardware is well constructed, rock solid. The mobile app and web interface are awesome for adding content to your library and interacting with the hardware itself. This is a well thought out system that works flawlessly and is very easy to navigate. For the record, I still stream content. We just watched the latest episodes of Stranger Things on Netflix. We watch John Oliver on HBO Max every week, and Apple TV Plus has some great content like Ted Lasso and Severance. This is really fantastic content and we wouldn't miss it. But as good as it looks, it could look better on Kaleidescape, and Game of Thrones is a perfect example. Side note, there is a great library of my favorite concert films in the Kaleidescape store for fans of the genre like me, including The Delicate Sound of Thunder by Pink Floyd. This is a favorite of mine, and it's now in UHD. This was finally remastered from the original 35mm film a year or so ago and released in their big box set, but only on Blu-ray. Finding it on UHD here was a happy day in this house. I don't think there's any question about the quality of this system. It is the high-octane content system for your high-performance theater setup, or just for the movie lover who wants the best quality they can find or the easiest system to use. But quality was a requirement for me. If it wasn't disc quality or better, it wouldn't have been considered. It passed that bar with flying colors, but quality, again, was not the deciding factor for me to purchase. I'll be posting a video next week about what those deciding factors were. Spoiler alert, they're likely not the most commonly discussed Kaleidescape features you've probably already heard about. you're going to want to see this video. So be sure you like and subscribe to the AV Nirvana channel so that you get a reminder when it's live. Or, depending on when you're watching this, it may already be live. And in that case, I'll have it linked in the description below and coming up right about